Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the podcast. This is Big Reptile Talk. If you are a animal lover, I'm probably gonna reach out to you. I don't care what you keep. I don't care if you keep snakes, geckos, ants, birds, giraffes. I don't care what you keep. If you have dedicated your life to animals, there's a good chance I'm going to want to talk to you. I'm going to want to bring you on the podcast and see what you got going on. Now, of course, before we get started, we're going to show some love to the people that show love to us. So much love to all the channel sponsors. Let's start off with Sloan Reptiles. That's my brother, man. Y'all make sure y'all check him out. He's a ball python breeder, and he's just killing it. So shout out to Sloan Reptiles. Definitely killing it in the ball python game. Make sure you check out his Instagram, his morph market. Tell him Derek sent you. Man, definitely a good guy. Shout out to my brother Paul over at Large March Morse. He's definitely acquiring some firepower. Y'all make sure y'all go give him some love. Hit up his Instagram, hit up his morph market. Tell him Derek sent you. And last but not least, shout out to Healing Hatchery. I appreciate you. You support me, and I appreciate you with for everything that you do for me, man. So thank you very much for sponsoring the channel. Now, also before we get started, this is gonna be a Gecko podcast, so of course I gotta shout out Lugardi. Lugardi, look at this crested gecko diet with dubia roaches, and not just that, they got freaking snails. So shout out to Lugardi. If you don't have it, make sure you check them out. Up and coming in the gecko game. Now, today's going to be a special podcast. We got the king of geckos. Freaking Tikis Geckos in the building, so don't go nowhere. When we come back, we chopping it up with Tikis Geckos.
Whoa. Big reptile talk. Yeah, we working. Talk about service. Big reptile talk. When it comes to talking about snakes, yeah, love that we got for them effect, yeah. Big reptile talk. Let's talk about reptiles. Yeah, big reptile talk. Let's talk about reptiles.
Man, I'm super excited about this one. Tikis Geckos in the building, man. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good, Derek. Thanks for having me, bro.
Man, I appreciate it, man. You know what? One thing I can say is anytime I reach out to you, you never turn me down, and I appreciate that, man. So, we gotta start this right, man. I I ain't talked to you since you got married, man. So how's that feel, man? You married?
It feels good, man. I just feel like this is just keeps me focused, and she's a great, she just like adds to my team so well. So, it's great, bro. It really is.
I love that. Man. Now I'm gonna be real with you, bro. When I seen that you got married and I seen where you got married, I was jealous. I said I gotta step my shit up. I'm married. He didn't got married in where was it? Honolulu, Hawaii, somewhere
So,
exotic, man.
I proposed to her in Hawaii, yeah, in Oahu. But yeah, bro, it was amazing. I have a good friend that lives out there, and whenever I go out there, I'm like, this is like, if I didn't live in Florida, I definitely live in Hawaii if we could keep reptiles over there, but we can't, so I'm in Florida.
Hey, that's a smooth brother. He said, "Hey, I gotta show you something." It's in Hawaii. I gotta show you. Just go with me. I gotta show you something. Like I feel like she kind of knew when you was like, "Let's go to Hawaii." I gotta show you something. She probably was like, "Oh
Nah,
shit."
you know what's funny? She didn't expect it because I've always talked about Hawaii, and I've always said like, oh yeah, I want to go, I want to take you. So like when the time came, um, she didn't expect it. It was funny because the whole story, I had this whole plan on how I was gonna propose to her. We were gonna go on this. There's this really nice hike. There's two big mountains in Oahu. They're called Twin Peaks or something like that. And I've gone there before, and I was like, you could see literally the whole island. You got a 360 view of the whole island. So I'm thinking like, it's gonna be great. We're gonna go up there. I'm gonna propose. It's gonna be amazing. And then on our way up on the hike, she's never really like done a hike like that, and she's like getting dirty. She's like she's starting to get freaked out because it's so high and like you could see, all the way down. So she's starting to like freak out and at some point she's like starting to have a panic attack and she's crying and she's having anxiety and I'm like, oh fuck, this is not going as planned. But so like the whole thing was so funny because in my mind everybody knew I was gonna propose because we went on a hike with my friends that live there and we could just kind of like hear her ramping up and getting more scared. And then we literally get to like 90% of the mountain, bro. There's like 10% left. And she's like, I can't go anymore. Like she just had a full on panic attack. So I'm like, I told my boy, I'm like, we're gonna do it the next day at a different spot because she was just not having that. But we ended up having a really nice we went to a really nice lookout. You could see the beach, the mountains and everything. So it was amazing.
I love it, bro. I love it, bro. I'm so happy for you, man. But now, just for like shits and giggles, bro. Like gecko wise, what's the deal breaker for you? Her like if she's like, I don't like Harley Quinn, we'd be like, oh, we're done, we're done.
And she don't like lily whites, bro. She can't stay.
I love it. I love it, man. I'm so happy for you, man. Now, you know what? I look up to you when it comes to geckos, man. I feel like you're killing it. So my question, like, it's 2024. What are you most excited about, bro?
I'm excited about a lot, bro. I have a little project coming up where it's basically like the AKC of geckos. And if you don't know what the AKC is, it's the American Kennel Club where they do like conformation competitions of all the dogs. I'm sure you've seen how they walk the dogs around, they check their bite, they check their stature, everything, their top line, everything. So we're gonna open up a competition that's gonna be like that, but for geckos, and it's called Gold Standard Gecko Club, and we're debuting it in May. So I'm super excited about that because I think it's gonna bring a lot of value to our animals. I think it's gonna kind of like push breeders to step up their game and produce the best animals possible, and not just like go for color or pattern. You're gonna want to produce an overall quality animal with great structure, a good snout length, and so on and so forth.
Bro, you're not messing around, dude.
No, man.
Man, that's awesome, and I can't wait to see that, man. So it's like, almost like how they do with the dogs, how they do with like all the animals. You're gonna the top of the line geckos, and you're gonna have like judges go through and just look at. Oh, that's dope, bro. That's hard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
hard.
So that's something I'm really excited about for this year for sure.
That's hard, man. Now, something that impressed me, man, because I got a tokay gecko, and I was watching your Instagram the other day, and you put up a thing about sex and tokay geckos, bro. What do you feed your tokay geckos? Because mine is little, and yours are like monsters.
Bro, the trick is to feed them roaches, dude.
Roaches.
Roaches, yes, roaches. Because roaches are big, they're meaty, and they just like they're an overall better feeder than crickets. Now, crickets are great because it's like the most convenient, easiest thing to find. But if you could get yourself on some roaches, definitely start feeding some roaches.
So you do the dubious.
No, we don't do dubias. Dubias are actually illegal here in Florida. We do discoids, but you could also feed you can also feed super worms and everything.
We don't do the dubious. My bad, brother.
No, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's dope, bro. I was like, shit. His tokay geckos are massive. And I was like, mine is this big. How's he freaking doing it, man? So that's good
Yeah,
information. That's good information. Now I gotta talk to you, bro.
bro. And you know what? Wait, real quick before we just got some tokay geckos in.
I
They're
did.
like from a they're different locality. I don't know what they are, but they're freaking ginormous, bro. I couldn't believe we have some males that are like bigger than any tokay gecko I've ever seen. And when we asked the importers where are these from, they're saying that I think they're from Thailand, but they're from like a different like locality or something, and they're just so much bigger than the other ones. So I don't know if you saw one of those or what. So
I want it. I want it. I want it.
yeah,
I want it. I'm gonna have to check out your. I'm gonna have to check out your Instagram and not. I meant your Morph Market and your Tikis Geckos website. I'm about to check it
yeah.
out, man, because that's my favorite. My favorite is the Tokay. So now I want it. Now I'm gonna have to buy it. So I'm gonna have to go look and see. Now, now this is a flex, bro. Like, cause I'm jealous. I want you to flex. I don't want you to be on no humble shit. I want you to flex. 111,000 on Instagram and almost 100K on YouTube, bro. How's that feel, bro?
Oh man, it feels amazing, dog. I've been working especially for the YouTube. The YouTube, man, I've been working on that for so long. I'm so excited to finally reach 100K. By the end of this month, hopefully we'll have 100K. I believe we will, like just looking at the trajectory of it. But dude, you know how this YouTube game is. It takes so much work. You gotta like, edit videos, put out videos consistently. It's been a long road, but I'm finally getting there.
I feel you, bro. Now
I'm gonna have the plaque right there, bro, on that wall back there. That's where the plaque's going.
you got the spot already cleared out for it.
Yeah, bro, it's gonna go right there.
I love it. I love it. For me, Instagram is cool, but I don't really try to grow on it because they don't pay their creators.
Well, so they do and they don't. So they used to do this like thing for reels that they were called bonuses, and we got on that for a little bit, but then they took it away. And they also do the subscriptions for Instagrams.
Oh,
If you're a certain amount, they'll give you like an opportunity to do subscriptions, so you could give out exclusive content or whatever, or be more like like just answer more questions to your subscribers and stuff like that.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's not. YouTube is much better for sure. YouTube is the best.
YouTube is good, but it's like a double-edged sword, and I'm gonna tell you why. Like you can grow, and the easiest way to grow is like to get some of your shorts to pop off. Like for me, I've had success in shorts. Like I can put a short out and get 50, 60,000 views, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm a creator. And then I put out a video that's 5 minutes, and it get 300 views. And you just like shit.
Yeah, that's how it is, bro.
It's like they came there for that short, but they're not watching that long form content. It breaks my heart. But as long as they subscribe, I don't care. I'm almost to 100K too. I got like 84. So
yeah, I saw. No, dude, it's the same. I just released this podcast. It's like a great podcast with Bill Strand. Have you had him on yet, by the way?
The Chameleon Academy?
Yes.
I want to get him on.
You got to get him on. He's a book of knowledge, bro. But I had a podcast with him, and it goes into such detail and such important information about like how to care for chameleons properly, and it's not doing as good as some of the other videos, So
it's like you put your heart and soul into that video, and it's like, well, this short did 70,000 views. Why is this video not doing good? It just breaks your heart. Yeah. But I am gonna do a chameleon podcast, but I'm trying to get friends chameleons though. You ever heard of them?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get, but I need to get Bill Strand too. So shout out to Bill Strand. But so that like man, I can't wait for you, bro. 100K on YouTube, over 100,000 on Instagram. You killing it, bro. I'm proud of you, bro. Now,
thank you, bro. Thank you.
Now we got to talk about housing, we'll talk about the Gecko controversy in a little bit. But housing, like how do you house your gecko? What's the best way to house your geckos? I'm curious.
Well, it just depends on the species, but you also got to take in consideration that me as a breeder I'm gonna do things a little bit different than a hobbyist. But let's say you're a hobbyist and you're keeping like a crested gecko or any New Caledonian gecko. I find that the Exoterra or the Zoo Med enclosures that are, that they have the screen top and the front opening doors, those are the best enclosures for them. I like to fill up the enclosure. You obviously want a taller enclosure rather than wider and longer. But the main thing is to fill up the enclosure with a bunch of leaves, sticks, branches, vines, whatever, because it does you no good to just have a big enclosure and it's just empty in the middle. There's a bunch of dead space. So you're not really using the full capacity of that enclosure. You want
Right.
to make sure that the enclosure is, it gives the animal plenty of room to climb and different levels to hang out in.
I love that. That's what I do for mine. Like my wife, shout to Cecilia Moore. She said, what measurement do you recommend for a cresty?
You could do it like an 18, 18, 18 for like one adult crested.
Okay. My wife got, and I can't believe it, man, because I got a leopard gecko and I got a tokay gecko. My wife got a crested gecko. I couldn't believe it, man, but she got one. So, anyways, we got to talk about the gecko controversy, man. I want to get your take on it, man.
For sure.
First off, I made a video about it, and I was very nice because Adam Wickens is a nice guy. But what's your take on it? I know you see the controversy. He got a doobie enclosure, and he put 6 leopard geckos in the enclosure. And what's your take on it? What did you think about it?
So honestly, I didn't see his video. I did hear about it, and I saw Darian talk about it. But I think you could house 6 leopard geckos in one enclosure as long as it's a big enough enclosure. There's especially leopard geckos, they're not animals that are aggressive to each other. They are very docile by nature, so they're not like going to be beating up or harming each other or causing each other a lot of stress because they're just so, you know, just so blah. They're just like whatever you do with them, they're like okay with basically. So I'm not one of those people that hate Adam for that. I think Adam is a very experienced keeper, and a lot of the people that are talking crap or trying to cancel him are not as experienced as him, and if he knows his animals best. So I don't know. I think the cancel mob just goes after somebody every other week. I'll probably
Everybody.
be. I know you've had a little taste of it. I'm sure I'm coming. I've had a little taste of it as well, and I'm sure they'll come after me again. But I doesn't hurt me. Sticks and stones. Nobody will say that to my face.
Like we both said, when it comes to the cancel culture, you can't be canceled unless you want to be.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Unless you do like some real horrendous crap and like or you work for somebody that's gonna let you go, then okay. But like somebody like me, you know, unless I do some really bad thing, I don't see
Right? I feel
people
you. I feel you,
caring that
bro.
much.
Now, I gotta ask this, bro, because I feel like when I go to reptile shows, it's turning into like the ball python takeover. Everybody's breeding ball pythons. It's like shit. Where I can't find a Amazon tree boa, or I can't find this boa. I got to get on Morph Market. So my question to you is, I'm starting to see everybody's getting into the gecko game. You got AK geckos, AEG geckos, flawless creations. So my question to you is like, being in a gecko game, do you feel like it's still room for new, not that, and I don't mean collectors, but do you feel like it's still room for new breeders to come into the game and make money per se?
It's definitely gotten a lot harder. It's definitely more saturated now than it ever has. But I'm a firm believer in that if you're good enough, if you work hard, you're gonna be able to make a living from it. I've seen there's plenty of businesses and markets out there that get a new, somebody comes out, like with for example, Prime, with like that drink Prime.
Oh yeah,
Dude, that space has been taken by Gatorade, Powerade, all those companies for the longest time. Prime came and now they have a market, they have like a piece of that pie basically. I think that if you're good enough, you're going to be able to survive and make a living out of it. But with that being said, it's harder now than it ever has before because there is so much competition. So you really got to stand out. You got to be on top of your game. Have great animals first and foremost. You got to have great customer service, take great pictures, market yourself properly, and just so on and so on. It's just a lot harder now.
Do you feel like you got to kind of dance a jig too, like hello my darling, hello my lady, hello my I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's what social media is all about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You got to get on social media like, hey, look at me. Hello, Malay.
Yeah,
Hello, look at my
exactly.
geckos.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's what it's about. I love it. I love it. Now my question is, you wanted the big dogs in the gecko game, but it's two sides to the game. You got the collector side and the breeder side, and you want to cater to both of them. So my question is like how do you make sure that you cater to both sides of the gecko game? Like how do you make sure you have stuff for like the collectors that just want maybe like the low end animal or something that's not $3,000 or $4,000, and how do you make sure that you're able to to cater to the people that want to breed and make money and follow and do what you do? How do you cater to both sides?
Yeah, so you have to be very clear in your intentions with breeding. You have to be very clear in what direction you want to take your breeding projects. And there's certain breeding projects that are not worth half-assing, if that makes any sense. Like, for example, one of them is like the high white stuff. Animals that are high white, only like the cream of the crop is what the hardcore collectors are after. And like the not so good animals or like the middle, they don't really buy. Nobody really buys. So when it comes to the collectors and then the more common crested gecko keeper, I make sure that I choose my projects wisely in terms of like I know that the highest end animals are going to be coming from this group, so I put groups together based on that. And I also have groups that are just like that are nice animals that are, really nice pinstripes or harlequins, but I know that those are going to be going to the newer keepers that are maybe can't afford $1,000 lizard, which is fine. Nobody, I mean, most sane people that start off in this don't start off with $1,000 gecko. When I started, I got a $50 gecko, and then eventually you start creeping up and you get more involved and you get to that $1,000 gecko. But you got to cater to both people, in my opinion, especially if you do reptile shows. Because at a reptile show, it's not easy to sell a $2,000 gecko unless somebody specifically knows you for that and goes to your table for that. Most people that go through a reptile show, they're going to be buying those lower end, $50, $100 gecko, $200 gecko, because that's the bulk of the market.
Facts, facts, facts. I love that. I love it. Now, I want to time travel, man, because you've been doing this for so long. But let's go back in time. Like, what were you doing before geckos?
Bro, I've done so much. I've been a real estate agent. I've been a kickboxing instructor. I've been a cook at Fresh Market. I've worked at random stores. I've gone door to door selling peepholes. You know what? You look through the hole, through the door. I've sold those. I've done so much.
Well, what? Okay, let me change the question because I'm going somewhere with this. What specifically were you doing before you said, you know what, I'm doing geckos full time? Like I'm gonna take a leap of faith. I'm leaving this behind. I'm going this way.
So it was gonna be kickboxing and Muay Thai, and I'm still involved in that world, but I'm just from like a training aspect. But before, the reptiles was always kind of like the main thing I wanted to do. But growing up, I was like dividing my time between wanting to do that or be a professional fighter and teach. And at some point, like my first passion was the geckos and the reptiles, so I ended up going with that.
Tiki, I'm gonna ask you this, man. Be honest. Did somebody kick the shit out of you? It's like, oh shit, that hurt. I'm about to just sell geckos.
No, it wasn't anything like that. It is a very tough life. And I remember I had multiple fights growing up, but like in a ring, like competing wise, right? So I had one fight and I lost that fight. It was a close fight, but it was a tough fight, and I lost. And after the fight, I didn't want to rematch the guy. And in my mind, I'm like, damn. I'm like, I should want to like rematch him. You know what I'm saying? So in my mind, I was like, maybe this isn't gonna work out. So it kind of is. You kind of.
Brother, now I gotta teach. I'm be like, you're like, he got kicked. Oh shit, coach, come get me. I'm hurt. I'm about to go sell geckos. I'm just playing, bro. I'm just playing. I love it, bro. So we still time traveling. You know, now you're like, you know what? I want to do geckos. I want to do it full time. Tell me, like, what was your first major investment? Like, one that you were like, oh shit, this is a lot of money. I better be on my P's and Q's. What was your first major investment? Not the $50 one.
Yeah. I got you. I'll tell you too. So the first one was when I was like still in high school. There was this breeder called AC Reptiles. He still breeds today. He produces one of the biggest breeders in the States. And he had a wholesale option to the general public. And that wholesale option was 50 geckos for $1,500. So at the time, I'm in high school, that's a lot of money. And I was like, man, I didn't have the money, but I'm like, I went to my parents and I like, try to like sell them on it basically like, hey, I want to get these 50 geckos. If worst case scenario, I have to sell these geckos, I could easily sell them for twice $50. So I'll be making, all the money back and then some. And I'm like, so that's what I wanted to do. That was the first big investment that I had to make. The second was the leap of faith was with the lily whites because I was the first person to bring lily whites from the UK to the United States. And yeah, so I think I was right out of high school, or I don't exactly remember what year it was. Um, but I was working and everything, but it was still a chunk of money that I had to invest, a couple $1,000s, and you have to pay for exporting, and then they have to export them from the UK to the States, and then you're like, what if these geckos don't show up alive? It was like, very nerve-wracking, but ended up working out, obviously, and lily whites have been, a very important part to Tikis geckos and what they've done for the business.
That's crazy. So being the first person to bring them to the U.S. in essence, you're like the lily white king. Like you were the first one to do the lily white. That's crazy.
Yeah, in the U.S. for sure. There was a couple breeders afterwards that got them like right after me, but yeah, I was one of the first to start breeding them here and actually breeding.
I love that. I love that. That's dope, bro. That's a big flex. I was the first one to bring him into the city. That's big dog. I love that flex, man. I love that flex, man. Now, you've done so much, man. You've done the lily whites. You've played around with the Harley Quinns and just a lot of just awesome geckos, man. But without giving us all your plans, like what's some of your current projects right now, gecko wise?
So one of my biggest projects right now is with the gargoyle geckos. Of course, I have my Deadpool stuff and my like really high-end red stuff that everybody knows me for. But there's this one particular gargoyle gecko project that is a possible amelanistic or hypomelanistic gargoyle geckos that I have. So they're all white. They have some orange stripes on them, but they're all white. They don't fire up dark at all. And when they fire up, they get like pastel yellow colorations. And I think it's a simple recessive. So I bred all those. I have two of them. I have two siblings, and I bred them to a bunch of different females. I had a bunch of offspring, and this year I'm breeding some of those offspring back to the males to prove it out. So that's something I'm really, really excited about because that could just change the gargoyle gecko game because it's like, a new gene, like axanthic or lily white, but for the gargoyle geckos.
That's crazy.
So that's going to change the game, and that's what I'm really excited about.
That's major, bro. I love that. That's major, bro. Now I want to have a little fun, bro. I want to go back to the question that I just asked when we were talking about investments because if I was in your shoes and you was like, you're like, hey mom, I need this $1,500 for these geckos. You know what I would have said? They would have gave it to me instantly. I would have said, look, mom, either you're gonna give me $1,500 or I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna rob somebody. What you want to do? I'm gonna rob somebody.
It wasn't easy.
I love that, man. It's dope that your parents helped you, bro. I think that's awesome, man. Now we
Yeah.
gotta talk about Florida, man. Like, what are you still doing down there, man?
Bro, I have a hate and love relationship with Florida. I absolutely love it because of like I could keep anything outside and like it's the weather's great, all that, but there is so many battles going on behind the scenes and there's so much like just messed up stuff that they want to take our animals away and stuff. So,
Man, you got the Gestapo down there, dude. I was like, they put out something the other day. I said, shit. It was
yeah, dog.
they said they wanted to ban. Listen to this. I seen a USARC alert. They said they wanted to ban all iguanas, not just green iguanas. They wanted to ban rock iguanas, spiny tail iguanas, green iguana. If it looked like an iguana, they wanted to ban it. And not just that. If it even looked like an iguana, they wanted to get rid of it. And not just that. On the end of the bill, it said, we don't want you to buy pet cats and dogs from pet stores. Did you know that?
I did know that. I saw that. Uh, yeah, it's crazy, bro. The people who are in charge of those bills are literally just being influenced by all the crazy animal rights people, the PETA and the Humane Society and all these people that don't think we should be owning like pets. And they're just lobbying, giving them so much money that they start to sneak that kind of stuff in those bills and they're just hoping that nobody pays attention and they can just pass it. But luckily we have USARK Florida and they've been fighting against that. But it's crazy. It's crazy what they want to do.
I said, shit. The Gestapo is running Florida.
Yeah.
They trying to ban everything. I said, when I talk to Tiki, I gotta tell him get up out of there, brother. Come to Kansas.
I, I know. I don't know about Kansas. Might be too cold for me, but maybe Texas or something. I don't know.
I love it. I love it, man. You know what? We here, we talking geckos, we having fun, but I do want people to be able to come here and learn a little bit. So breeding wise, man, give us that knowledge. For the new breeders that want to do what you do, breeding wise, age wise, what's the best time to breed your geckos? Like for your females and males, at what age do you like to put them together?
So when we're talking crested geckos and like gargoyle geckos, I like to wait at least 2 years. And I want the animals, the females to be, for crested geckos, like 45 grams. For gargoyle geckos, maybe closer to 50 grams. For the males, the crested geckos could be 35, 40 grams. For gargoyle geckos, it could also be like 40, 45 grams. Basically, like add 5 grams on top for the gargoyles. But yeah, you just want to make sure that you have a well-established animal. You want to make sure that they've been holding that weight for a couple months. So let's say like you have your female crested gecko and she hits 45 grams. Doesn't mean like you're gonna pair her right away. You want to make sure that she's been at that weight for a couple months before you start to put her body through the breeding process.
I love that. Great knowledge, man. I love that knowledge. Now, real quick, hot seat question. Your beautiful wife. If I want to know, if she ever hits you like hey, come here, hold this gecko. She says, "Ooh, that's nasty." Is it done? Are y'all done?
No, not really. She's well experienced with so many different animals, and she doesn't. The only thing she freaks out about is cockroaches. Like if we gotta feed roaches, she flips a shit. Like she does not like roaches.
Hey,
But
I
everything
meant to
else
tell
is
you.
good game.
I love that. I love that. I meant to tell you something. I thought about you the other day. No homo. I thought about you the other day. I went to Wichita to Darian's reptarium. He got a
Oh,
caiman lizard, and they let me pet it. And I thought about you because you got them things. Those things are freaking awesome.
yeah, man. Yeah. One of our favorite lizards here. Amazing, amazing animal, dude.
I said, "Geez, you got this." I said, "Man, I want one." I got to talk my wife and let me get something new.
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
Yes,
They're,
I need to tell her.
bro, yeah. That's definitely on the bucket list, I bet. Bro,
Man, I
those
love it.
things are like we got our tegus banned. That's like a
Yeah,
water tegus. So that's like a little cheat code for us because we still could have like some sort of tegu like animal.
man, and they're freaking awesome. I was literally petting this thing, and on video, it was acting like a little dog in my hands.
Yeah.
It was real friendly, but I love that, man. Now I need to look at those on your site. Now, I give me like, what do you think is like? Because like I said, you killing it in the gecko game. Give me like your best gecko advice, like for new breeders coming into the game. What's what's like that one thing you'll tell them? Like, do this and you're going to be successful.
Invest in high quality animals. That's the biggest thing, is to invest in animals that when you breed, you know you're gonna get nothing but like awesome animals from.
So go on the high end and breed and get that where you can actually start trying to make a profit.
Yeah, just like don't cheap out on breeders, because breeders are, they're gonna take your projects to the next level, and you want to invest as much as possible in the animals that you're gonna breed.
I love that. Now give me your advice too, because there's people that ain't as big as you, and they experience. I like to call them the COVID prices. They start selling geckos and they were selling them hand over fist, making all this money, and then the sales slow down. What do you do to keep yourself afloat when the sales slow down? Like, how are you making sure Tikis Geckos is still here, even though the sales is down?
Yeah, that's a good point, because COVID inflated the prices of so many different animals. We we were seeing, like, honestly very ridiculous pricing for some of these morphs, these new morphs that were coming out, and a bunch of people invested a ton of money in them, and then they just basically lost it all because they crashed overnight. So what you could do is, you have to quality will always prevail, in my opinion. So you always want to breed for quality, even even if you're breeding like more normal geckos that you're gonna sell at a reptile show. If your geckos have the nicest crests, they have the brightest colors, just that kind of stuff goes a long way. So don't just go buy a Petco gecko and breed it, because that ultimately is gonna end up causing you to have a bunch of animals that are just stuck in your house and you can't get rid of. So quality is number one. Number two would be, like, you have to try to be innovative with your marketing. You have to, go about it a lot of different ways through Instagram, TikTok. There's a lot of forms of social media and just tools that you could use that to get your name out there. And if people don't know you exist, they're not going to buy a gecko from you. So that's very important. Being innovative with how you offer geckos for sale. We did during this time that, it's starting to pick up a little bit more now, but when it was very slow, we came out with these mystery boxes, and the mystery boxes were doing very well. We were giving people, we were over delivering with the mystery boxes on purpose, and it's still one of our best selling products now, because I try to I never want somebody to get a mystery box and get an animal that is basically that's underwhelming. I always want them to, whatever choice they got, they're gonna be happy with. So you always want to be like like, think about the customer, not try to like skip out and try to like be cheap on your customer, but try to over deliver. And that goes a long way, because then they start to refer you. If if they have a friend that wants to buy a gecko, then they tell, oh, go check this guy out, he's awesome.
I love that. Like you say, just over deliver and keep them coming back for more.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. That's what it's about, man. Now, um, let's say your wife is reading. When you have kids, let's say your wife is reading a book about your life. What would the title be? She's
From
kids, we're gonna read a book about Daddy. This is his biography. What would it be?
It would be called Gecko Pawn to Gecko King.
That's hard. I like that. That actually be good for a mixtape too. I love that, man. I love that. That's awesome, bro. I love that. Now, tell me. Oh, I gotta ask this. Tell me about that guy, because I like to do podcasts, I like to do interviews. Who was that gentleman that you interviewed?
Which one?
It was like the one that you just recently did. I think you did it at a reptile show.
Yeah, so that's okay. That's Philippe Divas Jolie, and he's the main guy. He's the guy that brought crested geckos to the U.S. He's the guy that wrote all the books on different reptiles, not just geckos, not just like New Caledonian geckos, but he's written books on chameleons, bearded dragons. Like he's one of the founding fathers of, you know, our hobby in herpetoculture. So he is like, you
How did it
know,
feel getting a chance to interview him?
bro, amazing. It was just talking to him and like sharing, even before the interview, just sharing a couple things from our personal life. I'm like, this is so surreal because literally as a little kid, I would read books on how to take care of geckos or bearded dragon or whatever, and they were written by this man. This man has been breeding and keeping reptiles for longer than I've been alive.
That's
And
awesome.
because of him, like he just inspired and changed a whole world for us, you know, for you too, without you even knowing.
That's awesome. I seen some of that interview you did, and it inspired me to message somebody. You know who I've been trying to get in the gecko world, and I'm this close. I'm gonna get him. He
Who,
might say
who,
no right now, but he's coming. I'm trying to
who?
get Trumper.
Oh, yeah, bro, you can get him.
Tripper.
Tremper's
Tripper.
yeah, he's I think he's retired, but he'd be a great person to talk to, man, because he started with leopard geckos. He's the god, you know, like
I'm this close to get him. This close.
you got him. You're gonna get him, bro.
It's gonna be pretty cool, man. Now I know you did the Lily White thing, but like, give me a time where you did something in Gecko Hobby to where your ego just went through the roof. You was like, I'm that guy. Was it the Lily Whites?
Um, yes, but the thing that I remember that made me think that was like when I was selling some of these really high end gargoyle geckos. And bro, when I tell you I've sold geckos for tens of thousands of dollars, like I would have never in a million years thought I could ever do that, especially growing up. And when I got that money in my bank account, I was like, this is crazy, bro.
You
This is
make me jealous,
nuts.
man. Now I want to breed geckos, man.
Yeah, well, it's so crazy. It's like everything aligned in the perfect time, perfect place, everything.
Like how does that feel being able to wake up? It don't even feel like a job, do it?
No, it doesn't.
Being able to walk in there and do what you love. Like, I'm jealous, man. Like, I how to get the Uno cards. I'm gonna give him the reverse card. We're
Bro,
switching.
you'll get there, man. You'll get there. You just have to believe and you just have to keep working and keep perfecting your craft.
Hell yeah.
It's I truly believe that if you don't you have to have some sort of strategy to how to get there, but I think it's very, very possible. If you've seen so many people do it. So many people do it. Not just me. There's, Barchik out, well, rest in peace, but Barchik was out there. So many different people have done it, and they've kind of like showed you a path on how to do it, you
I'm
know?
jealous, bro. I'm jealous, man. Now give me that knowledge, man, because like I said, you're killing it. What's your holdback process? How do you say, you know what, I want that one, I want that one. That one is I'm keeping, that one is I'm selling. How do you determine which ones do you decide to keep?
So nowadays, I basically it has to have like a wow factor for me. So if I see something and out of the egg, I'm like, wow, like that's not something I usually get from this group. I'm gonna definitely hold it back. If if it's grown up, I gotta make sure that it has like it can't just have like a great color, or it can't just have great pattern. It has to have great color, great pattern, great structure. It has to grow at a good, healthy rate. It has to have a whole bunch of basically it has to check a lot of check marks or boxes for me to be like, okay, this is a holdback. Before, years before, I'd be like, it also depends because of, when you're just starting out, you got to kind of like build your collection, and you might not be able to produce that perfect gecko yet. But and I don't think any gecko is perfect, but I'm like, as you produce more geckos, you could be a little bit more picky. especially when you have I have geckos from every bloodline out there that you could think of. So I got like the best of the best in
I
my
love that.
stock.
I love that you're giving us that knowledge. Now, don't be offended, but I got to tell you something. I said, and I cussed. I seen you on somebody's social media, and I cussed. And I'm gonna tell you what I said. And I was like, I hope you don't be offended. But it's my podcast. I'm gonna say it anyway. I say what I want. Now, I was scrolling Jay Brewer's social media the other day, and I seen you
Yeah,
was at Jay's place, and
yeah.
I said, this motherfucker Tiki ain't slick. He tried to get on Jay's TV show. He ain't slick.
No, no, bro, that was an old picture. That was an old picture I reposted, but dude, he was just in Florida. I know where he was at a buddy of mine's place with some Galapagos tortoises just like last week or something for the TV show, for the Roku show. And I can't lie, I almost thought about texting him and being like, "Yo, let me slide. Like, let me get a little piece of that."
The picture was old, but I thought it was new. And I said, this motherfucker Tiki ain't slick. He trying to see if there's some cameras down there so he can get Tiki
Yeah,
geckos
bro,
on
yeah.
TV.
On Roku.
Hey, all promotion is good promotion.
Absolutely, dude.
I love it. I love it. I love it, man. Now we gotta touch on this subject, man, because without him we wouldn't be here. Brian Barczyk, he passed. Such an icon in the hobby, man. Like, did it hurt you? Did it touch your heart? What happened to you when you found out, when you heard the news Brian Barczyk passed? Because you were at I would say you were at Animal Con, which you didn't go.
Yeah, yeah, I was there.
Like, so you were one of the creators. Like, he thought something of you to bring you to Animal Con. Give me your take on that. Like, what was going through your mind when you heard the news?
Bro, it was really sad because I've obviously looked up to Brian and just I think the whole hobby has for a long time, but especially me because I'm not just a breeder or a hobbyist. I was like a breeder that was doing YouTube, that was kind of like following his footsteps. So, and then towards the end, like not towards the end, but like at some point I became friends with him. And then towards the end, we could all see like his decline. So it was hard. It was really tough. I was actually in California for the Reptile Super Show, I think it was. I think it was. I don't know, but it was really tough. And yeah, man, I think we all felt it when he passed.
Yeah, sad, man. I don't think it'll ever be another because
No, he's
I,
a
I, I
goat.
remember before I got into the hobby, his videos were some of the first ones I watched when I got my first snake. It was crazy.
Yeah, same.
And to see where I am now and where I started, where I am, that's just like, man, I missed the dude, man. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
Now I gotta ask, man, because you give me your honest, and for the people out there, you're in the gecko game, you killing it. What's one thing? Cause how many years? Okay, first, how many years have you been in the gecko game?
Since like 2010.
So 2010. So you've been doing this for close to 14 years. So
Yeah.
my question to you is like, what's one thing, if you had the chance to go back and redo, you would redo it? Or do you feel like you didn't crushed it? You're a big dog in the game. There's nothing you would redo.
No, no. Honestly, what I would have probably done if I could go back in time is just go full time earlier. It took me a while to go full time. I would have gone full time earlier, and I would have kind of like invested in a couple things earlier to make sure I had that peak, like that COVID peak. But it is what it is. You can't, you know, can't change time.
I get you. I get you. I love that. I love that, man. I love that. Now, real quick, for the people that are listening and the people that want to get their first gecko, what do you think is the best first beginner gecko? Like, do you think they should get a leopard gecko, crested gecko, gargoyle gecko? What is the one that you recommend to every beginner?
The crested gecko. The crested gecko, bar none. It's the easiest, even easier than a leopard gecko, even though leopard geckos are so easy. It's just a very you could find them at a very good price point, and you just can't go wrong. I like they're a lot more active than leopard geckos in my opinion, so they're just overall a better animal.
Okay, I feel you. Great, great advice. Great advice. Now, I told you I wanted to. I don't know. You're very active on social media. You do your Instagram, your YouTube, and I've seen that you did a Patreon. So I want to give away a Patreon membership, and I want to do like maybe like 2 or 3 months, get a person invested, and see if they like it, and if they do, they can kind of pick it up from there. So, like, are you still pretty active on your Patreon, or is it something that you just
So
started?
So we're not doing Patreon anymore, but what we're doing is the YouTube memberships. So it's essentially like a Patreon, but strictly on YouTube. And they're getting exclusive content, just a bunch of different videos. So I have different tiers, and there's one particular tier that I think is the most beneficial, and it's called the Gargoyle Gecko tier on my YouTube membership. And in that tier, I have a program called the Gecko Breeders Master Class, which I go through. Like, if you want to be a gecko breeder, basically, that is the type of program that you need to be on, because I go through all the nitty gritty details on how to breed, how to ship animals, where to get your wholesale stuff from. Like, I go through a lot of different aspects of marketing, just a bunch of stuff that will help anybody in the reptile game that is looking to make this as a living, that's looking to be a breeder or just live off of selling reptiles.
Okay, okay, I love that. I love that. I was gonna do the Patreon. What's your membership tiers on your YouTube?
It's like the price point.
Yes.
So I think it starts like at the egg is like $1. Then there's like the crested gecko is like $5 or $10. The gargoyle gecko, which is the one that has the Gecko Breeders Master Class, is $25. And then I think there's like one or two more.
Well, I'm doing that. I'm doing today. We're doing 2 months on the Gecko Master Class. So it's $50. I'm gonna get you invested. I'm gonna send you $50, and I want you to become one of his YouTube memberships. So the first person
Nice.
right now in the chat that types Tikis Geckos will get 2 months on that Gecko Breeder
Breeders
Masterclass on
Master
his
Class.
YouTube. I'm gonna send you $50, and I want you to
Nice,
invest with
man.
Tikis Geckos. So
That's
whoever
what's up,
types it,
man.
that's what I'm gonna
That's
do. I'm
what's
gonna
up.
do it.
That's what's up.
So first person that types it, Tiki's Geckos, will get 2 months on his YouTube as a member. Also, real quick before you go, man, like so what happened to you? What happened to you? Right there, Jude the reptile dude, Tiki's Geckos. So I'm gonna hit me up on Instagram, Derek's Reptiles, and I'm gonna send you the $50, and I want you to become a membership on his YouTube. Okay, right after this, I'm gonna send it to you.
Nice.
So shout out to Jude the reptile dude, Tiki's Geckos. Hit me up on
I'll see you
Instagram
on the
now.
other side, dude. I'll
I'm
see
gonna
you on the other side.
now. I gotta ask this because you've been doing this for so long and you're doing it as a business, and a lot of people say people lose their passion when they're doing something to pay the bills. So my question to you is: do you feel like you still have kept your passion even though you're breeding geckos to make sure you pay your bills?
Yeah, I have. Obviously it comes in waves. So there's time periods where you're not as passionate, then something happens and it makes you a lot more passionate again. But I think that's with anything in life. And to be quite honest, even on my least passionate day, I'd rather be doing that than be working with something I'm not passionate at all about. So you just gotta, keep that in mind that there's gonna be highs and there's gonna be lows. There's gonna be days that you're gonna want to do it. There's gonna be days that certain things you don't want to do, but that's just part of it. Knowing that is important.
Right, right, right. Now, man, I want to say thank you. You gave us an amazing hour. I had a good time chatting with you. I always do. Now I do
Me
gotta
too,
ask: are
bro.
you going to Italy?
Bro, so last minute, I am. I wasn't planning on it, but I am going last minute. Are you gonna be there?
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it.
Dude, you should go. You should go. But yeah, I'm gonna be there at Tinley.
You got you almost at being in the game. You almost got to because it's such a good place to network.
It is. That's why. That's why I go. That's exactly why I'm going this time.
You say, look, honey, I got to go. I got to go shake some hands, kiss some babies, and get geckos, Tikis geckos out there.
Yeah, you
I
know how
love
it
it.
is.
I love it, man. I love it, man. Like I said, man, I always have a blast when I chat with you, man. So thank you for giving me an hour of your time, because time is something you never can get back. So thank you for hanging out with us.
Derek, anytime, brother. You have a great energy, and I really, I like talking to you. So anytime, my bro.
My brother, man, you have a good day, brother. I'm gonna let you go. I appreciate you, brother.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too, brother. That's what it's about, man. Big reptile talk. Chatting with Tikis Geckos, a king in the gecko hobby, man. 100,000 followers on YouTube almost. He'll hit it. I think he'll hit it before the week's out. 111,000 followers on Instagram. He's just crushing it. Amazing, amazing animals. Y'all make sure y'all go hit him up. As far as Jew, the reptile dude, make sure you hit me up on Instagram so I can send you your $50. I'll send it right now. I'm not kidding. But please, please, I'm going to send you the money. I want you to invest it with Tiki's Geckos. Go and get on his membership on his YouTube. I was going to do his Patreon, but he does YouTube. So make sure you hit me up, man. But that's what this podcast is about. We bring keepers in the hobby. We chat with them. We see what they got going on. And Tiki's Geckos is such a down to earth guy. And like I said, I have a blast talking to him. So make sure you hit up all the sponsors. They're right there. Paul from Large Morse, Healing Hatchery, and Sloan Reptiles. And not just that. Make sure you check out this. These new guys coming on the block. Lugardi, man. Some of the best gecko food you'll get out there. I'm excited to see if my monitor is interested in these snails. So shout out to Lugardi. Make sure you check them out. I wish I had a code to give you 10% off. But until next time, man, this is Derek. This is Big Reptile Talk, and I'm out of here.
Whoa.